This Saturday, March 13th, is the Rebel Stakes. It's been one of the more productive early March Derby preps over the past few years. Obviously, this is where Smarty Jones came from, Fleet Alex. A lot of big-time contenders. Summer Bird last year was in Arkansas. Arkansas has been producing talent every single year, and this group looks to keep the trend going. Probably the most competitive Derby prep, top to bottom, that's been assembled this year. You only have 7 horses, but every one of them is a pretty talented racehorse, and all of them could conceivably be real Derby contenders. Just looking down this field a little bit, kind of breaking down the pace, Royal Express is obviously going to the front. This horse is a very quick horse early. He's been making the lead going 6 furlongs, even in sprint stakes. There's no way he shouldn't make the lead in here, barring a catastrophic break. So Royal Express will be on the lead. What's going to be interesting is what breaks down behind him, because you got Uh Oh Bango, you got Noble's Promise. Both have shown a little bit of speed in the past, but neither of them are really speed horses. So does Glenn Corbett on Uh Oh Bango kind of go out there with Royal Express? Does he kind of try to keep him honest early? Does Noble's Promise, where do they sit? Does Alvarado try to stay close, or does he kind of take him back off the pace a little bit like they did in the Juvenile when they were 4.5 lengths off the pace? That's going to be really interesting to me watching this race. And then where will Lookin At Lucky be? This is a horse that in the Juvenile was way out of the clouds and made that late sweeping move and came flying. But then they go to the Cash Call Futurity and he's a length off the pace. It's really going to be interesting to see how this thing breaks down. I think Royal Express is definitely going to be on the front. I think Uh Oh Bango will be out there with him. And I think Lookin At Lucky and Noble's Promise will both try to kind of tuck in behind them with Cardiff Giant there on the rail also. And then you're going to have Dublin and Pleasant Storm kind of back behind them. Dublin's move in the Southwest was extremely impressive visually. He's a horse that made a big sweeping move. He came rolling down the stretch. He fell a little bit short of Conveyance, who's a really talented racehorse. And really, Dublin was the only one making up a whole lot of ground on him at the end of the race. It's not like the race was falling apart. Conveyance was still going fairly well, and Dublin was just really coming at him. Obviously a really talented horse. He won the Hopeful as a 2-year-old. It's going to be really interesting to see how he goes here. And Dublin's actually going to be my pick in here. And it's a slight nod to him over Noble's Promise. I really think Noble's Promise is going to take to the Oaklawn surface. I really think the configuration at Oaklawn is going to suit his running style a lot better than Santa Anita did. I think at Santa Anita, Lookin At Lucky's running style and everything was a little more at home. And I think Noble's Promise at Oaklawn is going to have a little bit of an advantage maybe there and can maybe turn the tables on Lookin At Lucky. Plus, I expect Lookin At Lucky to be 7-5 in this field, maybe 8-5. And on paper, he doesn't look that much better than this group. He's not exceptionally fast. He has never run a really fast race. He's just consistent. He kind of reminds me of a 3-year-old version of Misremembered, who's now 4, who keeps running good in big races, but isn't, really doing it in huge fast times and isn't winning by huge amounts of, huge winning margins. He's not spectacular. He's just solid. And he's the type of horse that I don't think you're going to run Lookin At Lucky out of the Superfecta here. But I don't think he has to win here. And at a short price, I think you've got to take a stand against him. And where you go is kind of up to you. Do you want to take Royal Express on an open lead, perhaps? I don't. I don't think he's going to be a 2-turn horse. I still don't trust Uh Oh Bango at a legitimate 2 turns. He did run okay in the Delta Jackpot. He ran a good race there. But you're getting to a real 2-turn configuration here. I don't love him there. Cardiff Giant, I just don't think has the late kick to really close and beat these horses. He kind of seems a little one-paced. He's a little bit of a grinder. I don't love that. Pleasant Storm, I think, is a little overmatched. Will be coming late, but I just don't think the pace is going to get hot enough to really set him up. So, I'm kind of left between Noble's Promise and Dublin as the two horses that could offer a decent price. If one of those horses goes off 5-1 and the other one's 5-2, I'm obviously going with 5-1. But I think, Dublin is the horse that kind of strikes me right now. If the price on Noble's Promise is a lot better, I'll probably switch over to him day of. But for now, I'll take Dublin in what is a really, really competitive Rebel Stakes.